Welcome back, Hunters. I'm Survivalist, and we return Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, where the Fatalis Trio week continues with the middle sibling, or kind of odd one out when it comes to the Fatalis Trio. Because, like, regular Fatalis and White Fatalis or Old Fatalis both have this big air of, like, they will kill you quickly, they can be very dangerous. Yet Crimson Fatalis doesn't super have that. Like, back when we did Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, we showed that it was pretty easy to actually take on Crimson back then. And I do think they kind of have that as well in Generations Ultimate here. And I think one of the reasons might be because you don't have access to some of the siege equipment on the map that you fight it in. Like, it still probably will take a little bit of time to deal with the Endbringer, or the Bringer of the End, which is Crimson Fatalis. But it's not quite the same sort of fight as the other two are. We're still going to use the same loadouts we had last episode, and we'll just get ourselves prepped for it. Another thing, too, is I believe Crimson Fatalis does have... Actually, White Fatalis might have it, too, but almost has, like, something called an armor mode, where... I don't know if it's when it's enraged, or if there's something else that, like, it activates, or it's caused to be brought into effect. But basically, a lot of parts of the body actually need a harder weapon sharpness to deal full damage to. That's not going to apply too much to us because we are, again, a bowgun build, but it's something to keep in mind. And I think White Fatalis has that in the future for itself. But there's Crimson. Has the, weird giant horn only on one side of its head for whatever reason. It's going to feature a lot of the same moveset that regular Fatalis has, but there are some changes to what it can do. Mind you, not all that much, I believe. Well, we've seen that very frequently last episode. Yeah, it's probably going to start out much the same as how the regular Fatalis fight went. Although, it is actually right into using a fire breath, so I think Fatalis last time took a little bit more of, like, almost a ramp up before it got to that point. But yeah, now it's enraged. Yeah, here is kind of the wind-up to what Crimson Fatalis' specialty is, which is summoning a bunch of meteors to rain down. It's kind of fights like this where it has, like, this weird AoE style of attack that I don't know if Monster Hunter really should do too often or that much, because it doesn't feel quite like a natural defense the monsters would kind of have. Like, this is thinking more from the ecology side of, like, how the series can be. How do you really explain, oh, well, it can literally call down fireballs? Oh, there's part break. Now, one thing about the Crimson Fatalis fight that is different from 4 Ultimate to Generations Ultimate is that I believe it was a village quest where we fought Crimson Fatalis in for 4 Ultimate, which also explains why that was such a weak one in comparison. It's like, this is a full proper G rank hunt, and it's meant to be scaled for, I'm trying to remember, 2.5 players? There's not like the dynamic scaling that World and Iceborne brought in. Where you can have, like, say, it'll scale from 1 to 2 to 3 and 4 players, depending on, like, who's all in the hunt. There's like a fixed amount of health that every Generations Ultimate Hunt has to itself. But for Blade Masters, I imagine this hunt is a fair bit more difficult. Just because of, like, having to watch for when the meteors are going to be coming down and dealing with those. Oh, actually knocked down the little part of the floor there. And we're just going to kind of backstep and shoot our way of gain some distance back. It seems like the meteors all mostly congregate right around Fatalis itself. But does seem to like doing a lot more airborne stuff. Now I'll just use that, get through there. And incoming. But it does feel like it's an easier fight than regular Fatalis was. Actually, I guess we'll be swapping instead to Slicing 2. Valor mode has just run out again. But yeah, the patterns feel like you have a lot more time to maneuver and do stuff to ready for what's coming your way than they did with regular Fatalis. Oh, another part break. Good to see. Ooh. That's kind of a fast flyover. Wonder if maybe I should do haphazard for the last hunt with white or old Fatalis. And we'll just do that to avoid that easily. I think that's one of the things about Valor to try to remember is never to use, or very rarely use, the third hop you get when you have, like, Valor active and the sidestep shots. Because of the extra time it takes to do the two, it leaves you more vulnerable. So you can probably sneak in a lot more of just like shot, dodge, dodge, shot, if you had the ammo capacity. Another flinch. And I'm just going to get out of that area, because there's kind of like a clustering that the meteors do follow. If we do keep steadier watch on them as they're going out, they almost have like a targeted spot they all kind of cluster around and form a pattern in landing with. There's a little death wiggle. Every Fatalis has that. Well, I should say from Generations Ultimate they do. The belly flop. I'm just going to do that because I wasn't sure if we'd be safe out of that. And maybe I'll even try going for a mount here, just because we can. We've got a lot easier time of trying to get one of those here. than on the Charade map. Yeah, here come the clusters again. See? Oh, that was close. But yeah, they have like a clustered spot. They'll kind of form like a working pattern that you can always tell how the sequence will come for them landing. So as long as you kind of see the first one landing down, you'll have an idea of where the second and third and others will hit too. Like there's one, there's two, there's a third. I can't remember if it's like the same number every time. I want to say it's 5 for when the No, actually, there's an attack that we didn't show off with regular Fatalis because we were never really behind it enough to get it to be brought out. Yeah, it does do the little tail swipe that does cover a fair area. And like the other Fatalis, the physical attacks hit for more than you'd first think. Oh, there we go. Actually got ourselves a mount off on Fatalis. And we'll brace and try to hope we hold through it all. Stabbing him right in the head. That's gotta hurt. There we go. Managed to get it. Actually basically lays like comatose for us. We'll take that, though. This chance got a nice few easy shots in on him. Yeah, just dodge out of the way of the wiggle. Although I guess that one's more of an actual proper lunge since it is trying to bite us, but... Three. Okay, it's patterns of 4 that the meteors seem to come down. I thought it might have been 5, but... yeah, maybe I should actually switch out Crit Boost for Haphazard next hunt. As it does seem like we're getting a lot of flinches out once the slicing shots do hit their marks. And I don't think those will benefit at all from Shot Booster. I know our Pearson stuff does, but truth be told, with how the Fatalises have been, I don't think we've ever been really at risk of being out of range for getting the max payoff for our shots. And zooming through. Yeah, we've probably seen the point of, like, everything that's going to be brought out and shown off has been. It's now just the grind through the health pool. Well, that's actually been all of our, piercing stuff so far. I don't suppose Oh, I do have a Farcaster, so we're going to pop that just in order to get our ammo supply stockpiled back up. Actually, feels like this went a little bit quicker going after this Fatalis than the previous, but I think that's because we do have a few more openings to be able to make use of, and we're not, like, super caught back and forth between, like, the double fireballs. There we go. Might as well grab another one of those and those. And we should be good to go back into the fray. Yeah, that's one thing that I do have to praise World and Iceborne for bringing in, was that you could get more ammo in the hunt much more easily than, like, you are really finited for your maximum effectiveness in a hunt. Because it used to be pretty miserable for, like, once you run out of your major ammo type in a bow gun, trying to keep going using, like, only, say, normal 1 or, like, what your prior infinite use shot was. It does make me curious about, again, how Wild is going to handle the ammo counts and stocks going forward, because I feel like it might have just been a demo thing where we had, like, infinite uses of, like, say, normal... I think it was normal 2, Pierce 1, and Pellet 1. 2, 3, 4... Ow. Okay, that actually connected. I think that's the first one that's actually managed to make contact with us the whole hunt. It does look like... Now it seems like he's able to kind of throw them out in a straight line from himself. I'm not sure if it's like a health threshold is hit and that opens up that more targeted focus, or how he really operates. One, two... Okay, that was just clustered around his feet. That one around the feet. Oh, no, that's a line. Whee! Dodge that. Ooh. That got us pretty good there. Yeah, let me get heal. Oh, thank you, Almond. I want to get a heal in just so that way we're topped up. I don't think we're as at risk of, like, say, being one shot against Crimson either. But it still does pack a pretty powerful punch if the attacks can connect. And up and zoom. And just keep working slowly at it. Yeah, it's probably these fights that are a little bit more of, like, just drag on for trying... I didn't mean to have the fun to, like, drag on, but it happened. Whereas just trying to thin out the health pool, and there's not too much more that, like, changes up the flow of the hunts, where it can drag a little bit. That's another thing I will praise Elatrian for in its carnations, is because it swaps through different element types, it does feel like you kind of have these more varied focuses to them than just long, drawn-out things like this going on. And with that, I think we're actually going to make use of a potion, or one of our max potions. There we go. Yeah, top us up. Nope, cooling effect worn off. And I better get on the cooling effect just so that way we don't have too much of our health thinned out from that in case we need it. That's probably the big thing about Monster Hunter to learn is be ready to heal early and often. Even if you're not too badly hurt, get yourself topped up because things can easily turn fast in a hunt. Especially as you go higher up in ranks. There we go. I think actually might have been about the same time as regular Fatalis took to bring down. Just a little death row and blur. Yeah, I still think easier to deal with than regular Fatalis was, just because it doesn't use like the standing fireballs as much as the other one did, and also seemed a little bit slower to like change up to some other attacks as well. But we'll carve everything up here, head back to the hub, and get ready for... It's going to be a very challenging hunt ahead. White Fatalis or Old Fatalis, no matter the entry, will always give you a bit of a test of if you're ready for it or not. But yeah, I still think Crimson's the easiest of the trio. It is kind of a bit of an odd one out in a way, just because of like have the fireball call down from nowhere. It'd be kind of different if it like shot one up and then that broke apart into the meteors. But I kind of feel like it suffers the same sort of issue as like Dalamadur had in 4 Ultimate, where it's like, it just feels kind of this weird outlier of, I can call upon meteors or fireballs or whatever to take it down from wherever I want. How does a monster evolve an orbital strike trait to itself is kind of like the way I see it. I'll sell that off. Reach 457. And yeah, this next hunt ahead, it's probably going to be the longest of the hunts, as well as the most challenging. Because White Fatalis has a combination of both of the prior two's abilities in ways. But we'll just let it speak for itself when we actually engage with it. But I am really thinking of swapping out for the haphazard, just to have the extra damage that the slicing would do. It might help push us further ahead when it does come to trying to take White Fatalis down without dying ourselves. But that we will tackle next episode. For now, we are good to end things off right here. So, thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, the Fatalis Trio Week. If you did like the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure in the comments right down below. And until I see you all in the next video or episode, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.